Reggie Bush was one of the most electrifying college football players ever. In 2005, he led the nation, averaging 222 all-purpose yards per game. He had 19 touchdowns that year, and that led to Reggie Bush winning most of the major college football awards, including the Heisman Trophy. He'd been the second straight USC player to win it, joining the man who you had just seen a moment ago there hugging him, as quarterback Matt Leinart. However, in 2010, the NCAA forced USC to vacate its 2004 national championship when it found out Bush had accepted impermissible benefits from marketing agents. USC got a 2-year postseason ban. Bush gave back his Heisman under pressure. The school was ordered to permanently disassociate from him. That was later changed to a 10-year ban. That ban expired yesterday. USC released the letter school president Carol Folt wrote to Reggie Bush, which read in part, "I'm pleased to inform you that all restrictions and prohibitions on your involvement in our athletics program are officially removed, and you will be afforded the privileges and courtesies extended to all Trojan football alumni." What was your reaction to USC finally acknowledging and associating with Reggie Bush again yesterday?
Well, I knew it meant a lot for Reggie. You know, you sit there and you play for your university and you do all these spectacular things to bring them recognition, and then they have to disassociate themselves from you for 10 years. So I know this really weighed very heavy on Reggie, so I was very happy for him because I knew it meant a lot. But in tongue in cheek, I asked the question, does it mean he gets his Heisman back? Because obviously, like you just showed in that graphic, that he forfeited the Heisman. And the answer is it's not up to USC, and it's really not up to the Heisman Trust. I spoke to a member last night, and they haven't even discussed it yet because, well, as a voter, and Paul should know this too, you know, you on your ballot, it says that the only stipulation is that the player is deemed eligible by the NCAA. So at this point, even though the USC Trojans have, you know, they lived through their ban as far as disassociating themselves with Reggie Bush, he's still deemed an ineligible athlete because they forfeited those 14 games, the BCS championship, and they lost a lot of scholarships. So at this point, I don't even think he's still going to get his Heisman Trophy back, but at least he can go on campus now, and campus security wouldn't have to call the cops because he's on campus.
Very quickly, I should ask you, Desmond, because this is important and your perspective matters. You are a Heisman winner. Do you believe he should get his Heisman back?
Greeny, when this first went down, I was on College Game Day, and I said on air that if I were in Reggie Bush's shoes, they would not get that Heisman Trophy back from my dead cold hands. And that's because I didn't agree with the rules. I don't agree with NCAA rules and regulations. So, no, I don't think he should have ever given it back.
Fair enough. Paul Finebaum, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, I do think the Heisman Trust should give it to him. These are complicated issues, but 10 years is a long time. And I think in today's world, we really ought to be about forgiveness and redemption. And I give SC a lot of credit. You have a new president out there. You have a new athletic director, and the program has been a disaster for a long time. I still think they have some issues. I think they need a new head football coach, and that will happen after this upcoming season. But as far as Reggie Bush, he's one of the most popular players of all time. He should be welcome back, and there is no question the Heisman Trust should give him his Heisman back immediately.
Can I also point out that for the purposes of this discussion, the notion of forced disassociation is steadfastly ridiculous. It is like placing on a human being the scarlet letter like he's Hester Prynne and behaving as though he's a criminal when at maximum what he did was violate some ridiculous rules that you've set up in the first place. And the fact that they have the authority, or someone has decided they have the authority to force a university to disassociate themselves from a human being who didn't do anything so terrible in the major scheme of things is a joke. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who have never even heard of this who are saying, wait, they can do that? They could just decide for 10 years you're not allowed to have anything? Who are they to say that? Who in the world are they to decide what USC wants to have to do with Reggie Bush? You want to take his Heisman away? That's a whole other conversation. But the notion that they can just say, here, you have to wear the scarlet A or NCAA or whatever letters they want to put on him, to me, Paul Finebaum, is a joke.
It is, but Greeny, I mean, this is not breaking news for me. I think the NCAA is a joke, period, and has been for a long time, and it really has outlived its usefulness. And we can talk about this some other time. But it's one thing to deal with a head football coach or an assistant who blatantly and flagrantly violates rules, and you know, may or may not affect him going to another job. But this is really an antediluvian part of the NCAA hierarchy where they did this. I mean, I watched the same game everyone else did. SC won the national championship. I don't care what some committee of academicians come back with 2 years later and say, we're taking that away, and they now lost those games. They didn't lose those games. They won the games on the field, and they won the championship on the field.
That's exactly right. In fact, I'm already correcting myself. They should definitely give him his Heisman back. Desmond, where is it? I want to know where the Heisman is. This is going to be, I'm going to go get it. I want to go get it and personally
Desmond,
give it back
your
to him.
Heisman.
Where is it? Where's his Heisman?
Cold dead hands, but I'll help my man Greeny find his, though. I'm on it.
I mean, look, I don't mean to make at a time when so many really important things are going on, this obviously isn't that important, but it's just the gall of people to say, yeah, for 10 years, you have to disassociate yourself from this human being who might have taken some money under circumstances we deem inappropriate. Get out of here with that. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.